Hi, this is Nancy Joy with Reflections. I'm back. I couldn't get my regular video to work last week, so for YouTube people, it's the first time I've been back in a while, but I'm up and running, and it's an exciting week. Today I'm recording this Sunday. It's the full moon. Right about now, at the time I'm recording, it's completion. Those of you who follow, and I'm sure if you're following me, you're following lots of people. This is going to prove to be a very exciting spring equinox here coming up this week on the 20th, 21st. And lots of things are changing, and it's happening very rapidly. And the things coming out now are going to astound and amaze those who have been asleep. And those of us who have been awake and waiting, we're going to be quite happy and celebrating. Yet, in the meantime, what's come to me to discuss with you this week is pain. Not a subject a whole lot of people want to get into, and yet, especially as we go into the shift and the new, there are many people really struggling right now with pain, its purpose, why them, all those questions. And this week, a book came that I'd ordered a long time ago. Back in March 2010, I did a trip to Egypt, and an incredible woman came along on my trip. Her name is Karen Kane. And she called me ahead of time. We spoke, and she explained that her challenged daughter, Lorrin, at age 15, had passed away in December, 4 months earlier. And she was writing a book about the experience, and they had always dreamed, the two of them, of coming to Egypt, and she felt this was a healing journey for her after the past 15 years of her life caregiving a very compromised physically and mentally, and yet beautiful daughter, Lorrin. And she sent me Lauren's website, and I went on there and looked at all the pictures and read a little bit. I was moved. I mean, you cannot help but be moved. Karen took a healthy 6-week-old baby, Lorrin, for her checkup, infant checkup, the first one, got a DPT shot, and with vaccine, and within hours was seizing. And these seizures continued, compromising her whole life and her physical body virtually for 15 years. And what Karen experienced, her struggle, her pain, can you just imagine? Just feel it. This is your baby. The medical community telling her, give up, there's nothing you can do, put her in her home. Nobody wanted to face this. Nobody wanted to own what happened, as you could well imagine, even back then. And yet, through Karen's pain and through her journey, she discovered that she and Lorrin had a purpose. They had a soul agreement, they had a purpose, and they agreed to go through all of this together and learn the beauty and the truth. And then Karen would go on and finish this book, and she already had started speaking to other parents and to groups of challenged families and things. And she's continued on that journey, but her book took this long, from 2010 to 2014, excuse me, to get it out there. But what I want you to read her book. It's called A Unique Life Fully Lived. I've got the links of it here, and it's by Karen Kane. And when you take Karen's journey through her pain, through what she went through, you will relate to it even on your own little level, however that might be. And it got me to thinking about some of the spiritual axioms about pain. No pain, no gain. Pain is resistance. Those are just words. When you're going through something like this, actually, I feel they're pretty meaningless. So Karen and her daughter came to her daughter knew all along, but Karen came to realize the gift in this. Doesn't mean she didn't have to take pain's journey. She certainly had to take pain's journey. And yet now she's speaking all over, helping people. Her book is written. She's out there. And of course, Lorrin is with her. But first, she had to take pain's journey into being real, cursing God, feeling abandoned, frustrated, angry. And yet, at the same time, somewhere in her heart, searching. There had to be a reason. There had to be a meaning. And she realized eventually through her connection, Lorrin couldn't talk. She couldn't move most of her body at all. She could blink. And so Lorrin learned to communicate with her, of course, on another level. And this woke Karen up. I keep saying Lorrin for Karen, excuse me. Karen's the mom, Lorrin's the daughter. Okay, got that right. So she really in her book is teaching, though, also for anyone and everyone about the journey through pain and the value of that journey. So Karen and Lorrin, through Karen and Lorrin and clients I've had that have been in this type of pain, and one very dear friend in particular, Sue Isaac, who seemed to have lifetimes of episodes of this extreme pain. And I've often felt baffled and frustrated, which is why I wrote the book, The Wounded Heart. I had so many people coming to me in pain, and it made no sense. And so that's a good book too, The Wounded Heart, to explain it. But let's move right along here, because what pain's really calling you and everyone to do is to move through it to your destination. Ezekiel has always told me that when pain appears, we're invited to breathe into it and allow our frustration, our anger, our hurt, our resistance, and our denial to move through us. It's kind of like the stages of grief. You can move through long-term pain this way. And we are called to be brave enough and honest enough to take pain's ride in order to learn to arrive at the destination and the purpose. So I believe we created our emotions when we first separated with oneness, and they were our toolbox. Can't deny your emotions. They're our toolbox to take us back into that connection, that unified field, that oneness. So don't sink down the rabbit hole when pain comes your way and get worried that you're not in Abraham's vortex, or that you're in resistance to something, or that pain is trying to show you what you're not understanding. You don't get it. Instead of that, because that's a head trip anyway, and all it leads to is frustration. Instead of that, I am here to tell you it's a good idea to take pain's journey, to travel through the pain, to understand the destination, instead of trying to make the pain go away by stepping into something you can't get into because you're in pain, right? That makes sense. And I met so many amazing people on my journey that have moved through pain into some marvelous things. And Sue is one of them. Sue Isaac has created a whole series of emotional lessons. She calls it Feelings and Motions. And she goes to places where there are challenged adults and children, and she teaches them and the parents how to move through this. And yet she herself is still taking her journey through pain. So no matter what pain journey is in your life, mental, physical, emotional, of course, all of the above, it can take you to the knowing that, of course, you will prevail. You can't fail because you're eternal, you have a soul agreement, and you have a destination. Perhaps you created pain as a tool, or we created pain as a tool to pry us apart and then open us into new and unimaginable ways to become beacons of light within ourselves and for everyone around us. So just maybe we've had it all wrong. Take these thoughts about pain into yourself, into your own life. Please read Karen's book, A Unique Life Fully Lived by Karen Kain, Kain. It is an amazing book of courage, of love, and yet the frustration, the anger, and the abandonment, all together. All things are true. All things are good. Take the journey, catch the magic. Have a great week. I'll see you again next week after the amazing spring equinox coming up. Bye-bye.